So one of the premises of this channel is to make sure you are not only fit but prepared, but together both of those things will matter. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of great prepper videos of foods to stockpile that will last forever, in the apocalypse or in a bad situation. This is great. However, a lot of that food is usually um, terrible for the body, of course, and things that you shouldn't be consuming on a good day. But now we're looking at a bad day. Of course, you got to eat what you can get in a bad situation. So think about like power's out, so you need a bunch of freeze dried food, or maybe some food that's in cans, or maybe you jarred it yourself. And there's certain things you can eat in those situations that will be beneficial for you, and certain things that will not. So I've seen people stockpile ramen noodles just to have calories. Well, you're going to have um, body issues into that time frame. So yes, I know you need to get whatever food you can consume. However, what's the point of consuming it if it's going to make you sick or not be able to operate well? So if the situation is bad, so the power is out for days or months, or you have to clean up a big flood, or maybe there's a fire and you have to get out of some out of a forest area or something like that. All these things require your body to operate well, so you can get away from that situation. So think about performance for a race or a big lifting competition, something like that. You need proper fuel. So my whole point is um, two really. One, you want to stockpile healthier foods the best you can. There is a limit to this situation, of course, because some things won't last that well without refrigeration and stuff like that. But there are ways to can your own food, jar your own food, and then you're going to keep that food in a healthy manner, but also use it in a healthy manner. So you're not going to be stacked with ramen noodles and gravy type, whatever. I've seen a lot of really terrible preps that are just full of crap food that are going to keep you fat and happy and um, but not be able to operate well. So stock foods that are going to keep you healthy and lean. So that includes good protein. So um, there's always a debate in the lifting world for protein powders and not. That's still going to be pretty healthy compared to a lot of things out there. So keeping some protein powder to keep that part of your body requirement steady. But also you can can meats. If you have to learn how to do that properly. Um, Canning vegetables is a little simpler typically, but canning meats is possible. You can preserve meats with salt. There's you know all types of videos on YouTube for that. For both canning meats and canning or preserving meat with salt. Those are things you can do to keep a proper diet going in a bad situation, as opposed to spam. It's and chemical meats and stuff like that. Those are things that are not going to really help you when when times are really really tough. So um, the next one you want to do, and this is might be for like a long term thing, maybe it's a long term economic downturn. Growing your own food, homesteading sort of thing. You can do that even in a subdivision. You can do um, uh, box gardens, uh, deck gardens, like a little uh, container sort of thing. Maybe have just a smaller food plot. But in bad economic times, this is the same thing as prepping, and you want to keep your body healthy. Um, who knows when you're going to have to move on foot for a while? Are you going to be able to do that when you have a bunch of bad fuel from bad preps? No. You want a good prep with healthy foods, as mentioned, or or with your what was it called? The homesteading, growing your own food. Now, homesteading can go all the way up to living off grid and raising animals. You can do that if you can, but that takes a while to get there. A lot of funding, a lot of time, a lot of time, or you can just grow something small, at least to keep things going. Um, and you can use that to grow that garden if things get worse economically. So that's something that I would consider. Obviously, chickens would be a whole other thing too, but that's more of a you have to have a certain property. Some cities don't allow it, all that stuff like that. So I'm not mentioning that as your main objective. But if you can grow some food, stock some good vegetables in cans, and then they'll last a long time. and learn how to can your own meat, preserve your own meat. Those are the preps that is going to help you stay with good fuel. The whole point of this video is to make sure you have good fuel in your prep plan as opposed to just a bunch of crap. Because it's cheap, because it lasts forever, doesn't mean it's good. Again, you want to have good fuel because when you need to go out and do something else to continue prepping and continue thriving, you want to have a good fuel to do that. Because a bad fuel is going to slow you down. You're going to get sick, or just does not have the energy because you don't have good fuel in your body. Okay, so think about what you might need to do for long term to thrive. I'd rather thrive than just survive. Okay, that's the whole reason I'm making this channel. Have a good one.